because you have to see these places before the U.S. blows them up. And it's very good to see you here today in downtown Chicago. That's also precious for a similar reason. Because we have reason to believe that when Iran goes, a lot of other places go as well. Every war the U.S. begins, even the relatively mild ones, and this is a blasphemy to say this, but the relatively mild ones, like Libya, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and not the one that seems to be coming, is another nail in the airless coffin of climate change that the world cannot address in the limited time left to us to address it, is another railroad tie in the unswerving track toward nuclear apocalypse that comes with our retention of our nuclear weapons and our eager rush towards a new Cold War. And we've got hypersonic missiles now, so this one is going to be fun. And the economic inequality that is driving our planet into a far right, I say fascist resurgence, and that's before the crash that's going to come someday if climate change is real. If markets are unstable, and especially if we shut off all the oil traveling through the Persian Gulf with an insane regional war one step away from the world war it could easily spark into. And imagine a United States in another Great Depression with the politics we have now. Imagine the world's first fascist superpower with nukes. So, I'm sorry. Everywhere in America, there's somebody saying, we are the future, they are the past. The Democrats are saying it about the deplorable Republicans. I think the Republicans are saying it about the deplorable Democrats. Everyone in America seems to be saying it about the late Qasem Soleimani, and we're all saying it about Iran. Because we all seem to think that the West is a future that will be here forever and that will keep growing and increasing in wealth and sophistication, while Iran is some sort of past that we can leave behind us. But when I went to Iran, they all seemed to think they were human beings living right now. Who had a right to help shape and to move on into the same future we hope to shape and move into. What I learned visiting perhaps the most patriotic country on the planet is that Iranians are determined not to be pushed around by the United States. A lot of them don't want to be pushed around by their own government, and they've had some horrible ones. In 1952, they pushed out the British, and we overthrew their democratic government a year later. In 1979, they tried it again with an Islamic revolution. A lot of the thinking was that they can't co-opt this. The West can't co-opt this. This is a return to ourselves and something they can't take over, an anti-colonialist gesture. Whenever we get to be our most crazy and vile is when their hardliners take over, and I include General Qasem Soleimani, who was in the hardline right wing in that government. Whenever John Bolton is in power, they get their worst leaders take over and become a plague to their people, but never as much a plague as their people fear the United States will be. Our worst enemy is not the Iranian government, but our own. Iran's worst enemy, and I wish I didn't have to say this, is not the Iranian government, but ours. And they know that. And maybe they could deal with their government if they didn't have ours to deal with first. I don't want you to assume there will be an Iran in 10 years. I don't want you to assume there will be a United States in 10 years. No, I don't want you to assume there will be an Iraq, or a France, or a Saudi Arabia, or a China, or a Honduras, or a Venezuela, or a Russia. I wish there were, but I don't know if anyone is the future now. After with this horrible process steamrolling now. If you wanted to be your best self, so America could be its best self and Iran could become its best self, you could do that in order so that we can all move into a future. But you might want to do it just because I don't know that you're going to have that many chances left to be your bravest, most compassionate, humble, peaceful, and hardworking self. So you can say that you did it. You did. So, thank you.
We just have a few more speakers. Thank you, source of terror in the world today is right here in the USA! The real source of terror in the world today is right here in the USA! The real source of terror in the world today